Hi, this is Lisa, and you are listening to I Love That Movie. This podcast is for movie lovers. It's not an unbiased opinion, it's not a straightforward review, it's just a couple people talking about a movie that they love. The format is each week I have a guest, and that guest and I discuss a movie that they love, something they're obsessed with, something they connect with. We'll talk about the plot, the director, and the actors, but we'll also talk about the personal connection my guest has with that movie. So if that sounds like something you want to listen to, keep listening. Hello, this is Lisa, and you can catch up with me on X at ILTM Podcast. I'm also on Instagram at I Love That Movie Podcast, and we have a Patreon. The show is always free, but if you want to join us on there, you can. That's where I'll share my weekly thoughts around other movies that I'm watching. For instance, this week talked a little bit about the new Demon Slayer movie. So everything else is kind of over on the Patreon. We have a lot of fun on there, and hope that you'll join us. If you like what you hear today, please subscribe and rate the show on whatever platform you're listening on. It does help new listeners find us. And also, if you just heard my dog, so sorry. That's John Luke. He's having fun. But I do have a guest with me here today. I have Jake. Say hi, Jake.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Welcome to the podcast. I think you're a first-time guest, right? I don't think we've chatted before.
No, yeah, it's my first time. I think it's been a while since we've been trying to get this going.
I know, that is totally on me. Listeners, you've probably noticed that I haven't been releasing as many episodes as I have in the past, hopefully getting back on a better schedule. So thank you for being flexible. We tried a couple different dates and we landed on this one. But you know what? I think this is a great movie to kind of kick off our spooky season. So,
Oh, yeah.
but Jake, if you wouldn't mind, can you introduce yourself a little bit? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so, well, my name's actually Jacob. I just like to go by Jake. But it's kind of been insufferable, going by Jake because everybody starts saying hey, it's Jake from State Farm. I hear it everywhere at work, and
Oh gosh.
yeah, so there's that. But so all I've been doing really is just working for a few years. I went to college for maybe like 2.5 years. After that, I just started working. Right now, I'm working at Sam's Club. I'm at curbside right now. It's pretty demanding, like physically.
Yeah, it sounds physical. You know, my husband Nick actually worked at Sam's Club for a number of years.
Really.
Yeah, at least a couple years. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've been doing, just working.
Well, thank you for coming on and thank you for connecting. I believe back, I don't even know when it is. I have a giant spreadsheet of everybody that's ever asked. And so I'm trying to catch up to everybody on that list. And Jake, you were one of them. And what movie did you choose? So if this is your first time listening, my guest actually picks the movie. What movie did you choose to talk about today?
So I chose War of the Worlds, 2005, the one with Tom Cruise, directed by Steven Spielberg.
Awesome. Well, we're certainly no stranger to Steven Spielberg on this podcast, but when did you first see this movie? Like, did you see it in theaters or at home?
Oh man, it's hard to remember because I was 8 years old when it released. I want to say I saw it in theaters, but I really just remember watching it at home mostly. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Was that on DVD or VHS?
I believe it was on DVD. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah. I mean, this is kind of an intense movie for an 8-year-old. It's kind
Oh
of
yeah, for
scary.
sure. It
Yeah.
really, I wouldn't say it traumatized me, but
It
every
impacted you.
oh yeah, for sure. Like
Yeah.
every time I saw like gloomy skies, I always
Oh
thought,
gosh.
yeah, these aliens are gonna come down
They're
in a
coming
lightning
for you.
storm. Yeah.
Did you
So,
watch this like with your family or on your own?
yeah, I watched it with my family. It was very rare that I would watch a movie by myself, at least at that age.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, we don't have a spoiler free and a spoiler filled section of the show, so this is your opportunity. This is your warning. If you have not seen War of the Worlds, the one from 2005, please pause and go watch that. But if you're still listening, I'm going to read a quick synopsis of the plot. So, dock worker Ray Ferrier, played by Tom Cruise, struggles to build a positive relationship with his two children, Rachel, played by Dakota Fanning, and Robbie, played by Justin Chatwin, when his ex wife, Marianne, played by Miranda Otto, drops them off at the Ferrier's house. It seems as though it will just be another tension filled weekend. However, when the electromagnetic pulses of lightning strike the area, the strange event turns out to be the beginning of an alien invasion, and Ferrier must now protect his children as they seek refuge. So, great movie to kick off spooky season. Kind of scary,
Hmm.
kind of
Hmm.
intense.
Oh yeah.
And usually around this part of the show, I like to give a couple of quick facts. So I just have two that I want to give, and feel free to chime in with reactions or with your facts. But I'll read the first one now. When the aliens are investigating the junk in the basement, one of them plays with a bicycle wheel, and this is actually a reference to the original book because the main character observes that with all the advanced technology the aliens possesses, they do not use any wheels and wonders if the
Oh wow.
alien life form had skipped the invention of the wheel.
Wow, it's interesting.
Yeah, I know. I have never read the book. Have you?
Oh no, I've never read the book. No.
No, me neither. I've heard like the dramatic radio show, like the one that
Oh,
scared everybody back in the day. Yeah.
from Orson Welles, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah, that
yes.
was fantastic. I listened to it before.
Oh, that's cool. Ray's okay. Then the second one I have is that Ray's horror at discovering ash all over himself after stumbling home was influenced by September 11 survivor stories.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I kind of did think about that a little bit, honestly. It's still September when we're recording this, and when I was
Oh wow,
watching the
yeah.
movie, I think it was a little bit on my mind in that scene. I
Mm.
thought it did kind of remind me of what people had reported about. Yeah. So those are my couple of quick facts. Did you have any little nuggets like that you wanted to share?
I guess the coolest, well, not the coolest one, but like it's pretty cool to me because I didn't know until I watched the special features is that Marianne's parents, which I'm assuming those are her parents at the very end,
Yeah.
those are actually assuming they were the main protagonists in the original War of the Worlds
Oh, I
movie.
wondered that.
Yeah, they talked about it in the special features that they
Oh, very
were.
cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah,
That's
but I
really neat.
think
Like I did see them and I thought, either they knew the director or they were in the original, so that's really cool. Did not know that.
yeah,
Learn
and
something new every day.
she's still alive too, and
Oh
that's
wow.
pretty cool. Yeah.
That is cool. So I teased before that we've had episodes on Steven Spielberg movies. Obviously, if you have a movie podcast, you got to talk about Steven Spielberg. Is is this your favorite film of his?
Uh, I would say so. I mean, it's become mostly a comfort movie. I love having it on. I love just listening to it in the background sometimes. Sometimes I can just watch it on a loop, um, while paying attention and not just having it on the background. Um, but I kind of like Minority Report too. So
Ooh,
it's
I
kind
love
of
that movie. Yeah,
yeah, it's
so
kind of
good.
between those.
Those two. Yeah. When
Yeah.
did Minority Report come out? I feel like
Uh,
that's a movie people kind of forget that he directed.
yeah.
2002. So just
Hmm.
pretty close to when this one came out.
Yeah.
I remember this particular movie, I don't think was received super well at the time it came out. Am I making that up? Do you know?
War of the Worlds?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I don't know. It would be interesting to know because since I was 8, like I wasn't really, paying
Yeah,
attention
you weren't like
to
paying attention to critics at 8. That
no, yeah,
that
at
that
that
makes
point,
sense.
yeah, I was just enjoying whatever I was watching, and if I didn't like it, well, I just didn't like it. But it's kind of like if it wasn't well received, it's kind of hard to believe because it's a really great movie. I don't know why people wouldn't receive it well.
Yeah, I think sometimes it takes a little bit of time. I
Hmm.
think sometimes as time wears on, things change. I also think because this is such a huge property, right? Like this is
Hmm.
something that was definitely in the pop culture, zeitgeist and
For
is
sure.
such a big deal. And so I wonder
Hmm.
if it's just very hard to kind of recreate that in a modern, setting,
Hmm.
which they did here. And I think it's unique to me. I haven't seen the original. Have you watched like the movie that like the older version of this?
Yeah, I actually have, and I mean, it's for its time, I'm sure it was very, you know, how do I say it? Kind of like what Star Wars was to people back then. Like
Yeah, pretty groundbreaking in terms of
yeah,
like the plot and yeah.
for sure. So it was kind of hard for me to watch that movie, being that this was my introduction to War of the Worlds, and it was very enjoyable for sure. But I mean, it was kind of hard to just take it seriously. But I still appreciate it for what it was, and you can see how the flying saucers are connected to these. I don't really know what it was. I want to say like wires. Like you could see the wires. So, it was groundbreaking, but it was still not not as groundbreaking, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. Um so let's see. So we talked about Minority Report. Um Let me look. Yeah, cuz I think originally it was a World of Worlds was like an audio broadcast, but then I'm trying to see when the movie came out.
The original one,
Yeah,
I think it was 1953 or 58. I'm not sure. I forget.
I think you're right. 1953. Good
There you go.
memory. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, and definitely those older people look very familiar when you look at the cast
Yeah,
of that movie. That's really cool.
yeah, they do. And
Yeah.
I still need to see Close Encounters. Did Steven Spielberg direct that? Of the
Yes, I
third
think
kind.
so.
Yeah, it's
Yes, he
so
did.
I want to say he's also developing another kind of alien movie, if
Oh,
I remember
interesting.
correctly.
Yeah,
I'm not
he's
sure.
had such a long career. It's like he's made so many different types of films. And,
Hmm.
when I was watching this one, it definitely has a lot of vibes, I thought, even from like
Hmm.
Jurassic Park. Like, especially there's a scene where they're like in the basement and some of the I guess like the tension building up in that part
Hmm.
kind of reminded me of Jurassic Park or even Jaws. I felt like
Hmm.
there was a lot of echoes of like his other films in this one. And it's also just I don't know, for some reason I haven't seen the original movie, but because I've only really heard parts of the audio broadcast, I always pictured it
Hmm.
being very like not letting you see a lot of the alien, which you see a lot
Hmm.
of them in this
Hmm.
movie. Like they definitely don't shy away from that.
Hmm.
It definitely came across as like a big blockbuster, but I seem to remember because I was probably, mm, I'm gonna say I was in my like maybe early 20, like maybe 20 or something like that when this came out. I don't know why I can't
Oh
remember
wow.
that. I guess just the older you get, the more you can't remember what age you were. But
Yeah.
I guess I would have been exactly, yeah, 22, I guess. And I seem to remember that, and this is kind of teasing ahead and getting into the cast, but Tom
Hmm.
Cruise was definitely having a tough moment at that time.
Yeah.
publicity wise, and I don't think just at the time when the movie came out it did super well. And that I had read that Steven Spielberg even kind of blamed Tom Cruise for some of that. Just I think
Oh
he
wow.
had the year where he like jumped on a couch and like kind of acted crazy on like a late night talk show, and it was at the
Oh
height
my
of I
god.
think him being very public about his Scientology, and like there was
Oh
just like a
boy.
lot around him at that time, and I think they kind of had a
Hmm.
tough time on set. So
Oh
I
man.
just that's what I kind of remember about this movie, and somehow I have to admit this to you, I this is like the first time I've watched it. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I mean,
I had never
being
seen it.
that he has so many movies, like I mean, I haven't even seen. This might sound crazy. I haven't seen any of the Indiana Jones movies.
Oh, you got to. But
Yeah.
everyone's going to say that to you. And you know what? There's a lot of movies out there, so I'm going to take that back. You can watch it whenever you want. I didn't see War of Worlds until you picked it, so you can watch Indiana Jones whenever you want. I think everyone's kind of got their era of Steven Spielberg, where the
Hmm.
time that they grew up, those are the movies that really stick out to you the most. For me, it was
For
like,
sure.
E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark and stuff like that. But for others, it's,
Hmm.
Saving Private Ryan, Schindler's List. For you, it's
Oh
it's this
yeah.
movie, it's Minority Report. So it kind of depends on what era you were a part of, really.
Hmm. Well, surprisingly, I can't remember it that much, but my parents, they had Saving Private Ryan on, like this was like when I was even younger than when War of the Worlds came out, but they had on Private Saving Private Ryan. So I want to say that that might have been my first Steven
Okay.
Spielberg movie, but
Another very tough movie to watch as a kid.
oh, for sure. And I actually, my mom told me that I ran to the living room because I recognized Tom Hanks' voice, and I thought Toy Story was playing.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I can imagine my,
Your
you
parents were
know,
like, no, 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 no.
yeah. So I don't even know what part it was on, but I can imagine it was a gruesome part of the movie.
Oh gosh. Well, I looked it up and this movie has a 76%. So that's not bad. That's pretty good. That's like
Oh
a
yeah, that's
good tomato.
oh yeah
So,
for sure.
um, but yeah. And speaking of Tom Cruise, let's talk a little bit about the cast. So I
Yeah, let's
think
go.
you told me, I feel like you sent me a message saying, before we started recording
Mhm.
that this is like your favorite Tom Cruise performance.
Well, I don't. I know that was on one of the, I think the DVD cover, or I remember it was somewhere that I saw that it was probably like during promotions or something that it was one of, or maybe it was a trailer. Like how in on DVDs they used to play trailers
Oh
for
yeah.
movies coming soon. So I want to say it was that they promoted War of the Worlds with, this is one of Tom Cruise's best performances, which is,
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
that kind of sounds like what you were telling me, how they were having trouble around this time. That kind of sounds like they were kind of maybe overplaying it, because I don't think this is one of his best performances at all. I really just think it's one of his best movies.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, he's very different in this movie, I would say,
oh yeah,
from
for
other
sure.
films. Like
Yeah,
he's
I mean,
intense.
I wouldn't say it's like a bad performance, but it's
Oh
just
no. Yeah,
like,
I don't think so.
um,
I agree with that.
it's very interesting. Like, I actually have the movie on right now.
Nice.
It's
It's your comfort film. I love that. Like you
yeah,
said
and
earlier.
he's taking off the ash off his face right now, and
Hmm.
I don't know. It's very interesting seeing him kind of. I don't know like how deep we can get with the conversations, but like it's interesting seeing him play like a father
Hmm.
when I don't I don't really know if he sees his daughter anymore.
Oh,
Um,
really?
like with the Scientology thing.
Hmm.
Uh,
Interesting. Kind of separated them, different beliefs.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I think so. It's kind of, I don't know if they were having like problems with that at this point in their lives, but it's kind of interesting seeing actors play people who like they're not really like that in real life.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
even in this movie, though, he is like kind of estranged from his kids
yeah, and
a little
that's
bit.
also an interesting part.
Yeah, sort of a parallel in a way.
Mhm.
I would agree with what you said. I don't think it's Tom Cruise's best. My favorite performance of his, just to be honest, is actually an Interview with the Vampire because it's so
Oh,
different.
he was
It's so
great. Yeah.
strange. And we also did a movie, covered a movie that I had not seen before, Collateral, and thought he was really interesting in that too because he was a villain, which I
Yeah.
had,
Yeah.
so I kind
Hmm.
of like when he's a villain a little bit.
Yeah. He
But
was pretty good.
yeah, I think he's good in this. I think it's interesting because he's normally, if he's not playing a bad guy, he's usually playing like the best possible version of himself. And I don't really
Hmm.
feel like Ray's character is that. So that is
Hmm.
interesting. Like you said, I don't know, maybe some echoes of what's going on in his personal life at the time.
Maybe.
But probably the first time, I mean, I remember her from the trailer, but I think someone that stood out to me in the movie was Dakota Fanning.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like at her age and the way she just brings out like I think right now they're getting that van that broke down. You know, they're about
Oh
to leave.
yeah,
Like
yeah. That's
the way she
intense.
yeah, the way she's tearing up is insane to me at that age. Like I don't know how she's doing that.
She acted
It's
like
crazy.
a small adult. I mean, it
Hmm.
kind of it was just really good. Sometimes, they'll cast children in movies and it almost feels like they're an afterthought or like an oh well because their
Hmm.
acting isn't great. But
Yeah.
Dakota really stood out. I mean, I think Robbie's the actor that played Robbie as well, Justin Chatwin, did a great job. But
Hmm.
Dakota's character, especially, I mean, she's kind of almost like the heart of the movie. All the most
Hmm.
pivotal, intense scenes are kind of around her character, and I
Yeah.
thought I thought they were both really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, probably the most heartfelt scene was when they're in that basement and she wants him to sing her a lullaby, but he doesn't
Oh
know
yeah.
any. And that was pretty sad, but he sings what he knows, and I guess that was enough for her. That's it's kind of hard seeing a dad just do what he can, but feels like it's not enough. And I kind of related to that because I mean, I kind of like growing up, like kind of looking back now, I kind of felt like my relationship with my dad was kind of like what Robbie's is with his dad.
Mm.
So kind of like over time, it's we've kind of healed our relationship, but like it was I can kind of relate with Robbie, but also with Rachel, and like he's just doing what he can for her,
Yeah.
and he's like Ray's never had to step up the way he does like once everything starts going crazy. And I'm sure like I'd like to think that after the movie just headcanon that he was just a different man from that point on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the movie's very empathetic about Ray's character while still
Hmm.
kind of showcasing, I think, some of the issues with his
Oh yeah.
relationship with his children. But
Hmm.
I think kind of making the point that, like, even though he is kind of absent and even though he doesn't have a closeness with them that he probably should, he still loved them. And that was the
Hmm.
important part,
Oh yeah.
you know?
Hmm.
I don't know the actor that plays Robbie very well. I was looking at his IMDb, but I don't know much about him. Obviously, he looks different now,
He
but
the only other movie I've seen him in is that live action Dragon Ball movie that came
oh
out.
gosh.
Yeah, he was he
Uh-oh.
was Goku, and
Oh no. That's
it
why
was
we haven't seen him
terrible.
again.
Yeah, he was in another show. I forgot. It was a pretty popular show. Um,
Was it Weeds?
oh God, I don't. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, I
God.
was looking him up, and I did see Dragon Ball Z. I didn't realize he was
God.
Goku, but that's pretty funny.
He was in Shameless for a
Oh,
while, I
Shameless.
think.
Okay, I've never
Yeah,
seen Shameless, but I've heard
yeah, I've
it's
never
really
seen it
good.
either. But I've seen clips of him in that show. But besides those two things, I haven't seen him in anything, and it kind of sucks because he was pretty good in this movie.
That happens sometimes where people just seem like they have a lot of promise and they don't end up having a
Yeah.
long career. The only other person I really recognized right off the bat was Tim Robbins. I was kind of surprised to see him in the movie. I was like, oh, hey, it's him. He plays a complete weirdo.
Yeah.
He's a little shell shocked, a little odd. And what's interesting to me is that he's in this movie, and Morgan Freeman, I believe, is doing the
Mhm.
voiceover at the
Yeah.
beginning and end. So kind of a Shawshank Redemption sort
Yeah.
of, you know, cameo there in a
Yeah.
way, because both actors were in that movie.
Hmm.
But yeah, I he's certainly unsettling, but it's kind of
Yeah.
fun to see him in like a different part than he normally plays. It does make me think, like when I'm thinking of the scenes that he's in, and some of the others, I think one challenge this movie might have faced at the time that it might not face today is, there's some pretty dark scenes in this movie. Like for like a movie that's like a blockbuster that maybe like you could take your family to, there
Hmm.
is some serious tragedy that happens throughout the film.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty intense. What are some of your favorite scenes?
uh, so when when Ray goes to check out where the lightning was striking, I don't know where like what street it is or anything, but when the tripod first comes up, I think that scene is probably my favorite out of the whole
Mm-hmm.
movie. It's just there's so much anticipation and tension just building, like waiting. They're all waiting to see what's coming out or coming up out of
Yeah.
the ground, and it's just it's just I think it's crazy that they're just all standing there watching this thing come out and no one's moving, and it's just like why would you not automatically assume that this is something that's threatening? And
Yeah, it's like this is bad. It's coming out of
yeah,
the ground.
like
Even the
they
lightning, I thought it was so odd to me when
yeah.
the lightning was striking and he's like telling
Hmm.
his kids like, "Well, it's not going to strike in the same place twice." And it's like,
Hmm.
"Well, regardless, that's terrifying. Like if lightning
Oh
struck right next to me, I would not be okay even if
no.
it wasn't going to come back, So like he has like this nonchalantness in the beginning of the movie that he really quickly loses as
Oh
things
yeah.
start to get really intense. But I agree that scene visually is really striking, and
Hmm.
overall, this whole movie, I watched it on Pluto TV, by the way. Like you can watch it right
Oh,
now
okay.
for free. That's how I saw it. You do have to watch some ads, but that's how I saw it. And I noticed that this movie had a very like early 2000s look to it.
Hmm.
It's like a time in cinema, and I think Minority Report has it to a certain extent, but this movie felt like even more so. There's like a graininess and a filter that they
Yes.
used
Hmm.
in early 2000s that I feel like they don't use anymore. And so now when you see a movie like that, you're like, "Oh yeah, this is from 2005." Like you
Hmm.
automatically know. But I think it also probably was used because unlike Jurassic Park, which was very like practical effects, right? They were like puppets that
Hmm.
were moving and things. This one feels a little bit more CG, I think, than that movie. Do you agree?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say in the special features they made a physical alien, like
Mm-hmm.
when they're there in the basement, but I can't really tell if they actually used it or not, because for the most part they just look like the CG models that are being used.
Yeah. No,
It was probably
granted, it's good, and like
oh yeah.
and it's different. But that's something that I noticed, and when you think about, I mean, it's 12 years after Jurassic Park, but I thought that was interesting that it was more CG.
Yeah. Um, but I mean, I think Steven likes to have some like practical stuff in there anyway,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Like,
I felt like the plane and stuff like that. That was a really intense scene to
yeah.
me, like the plane that was crashed right outside the house, like that whole scene where like those reporters are like pulling the cart out of the plane
Oh
with
my
all the
God,
food
yeah.
on it and stuff. It's like, they're like jaded
Jeez.
to it at this point already, and that was
Yeah,
really intense.
I think it was very apparent that they were jaded because the reporter asks Ray if he was on that plane, and she's like, "Oh, well, that would have been a really great story if you were."
Yeah, and just kind of
Yeah,
like,
it's
okay,
like, oh,
bye-bye. And he's like,
yeah.
what? And that the newscaster really is kind of like our exposition. She's kind of
Hmm.
telling us like what happens every time about the lightning. She's showing him footage
Hmm.
because she's like, the second that these things hit, there's like no news anymore. There's no,
Hmm.
you have no idea what's going on. And so I thought that was an interesting way of doing it, and just also kind of a shocking scene. And yeah, like when you first see the aliens and how they look, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that movie, Arrival, a little bit,
Oh wow, yeah.
like the way that those aliens are kind of long
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
and flowing, and yeah, it kind of reminded me of that a little bit. I was like, that's interesting. I wonder if they were influenced by if Denis Villeneuve was influenced by this movie.
I mean, I would imagine he was in a
Yeah.
way. Um, but oh God. So I mean, another scene that stands out to me. It's I think it's pretty terrible, but like in a good way. Is that scene where Rachel's by the, I'm assuming it's a river, and she sees all those bodies just floating
Oh, I
down.
know. It's chilling.
Like, that, like I wonder. I'm pretty sure those weren't actual people, and they were just like dummies or something. But
But
like,
still, it's like horrifying.
yeah, I think it'd be pretty funny though if they got all those like real people just to float down
They're like,
the
okay, everybody
river.
just pretend to be asleep.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty much the the second best scene to me, because it's just that's horrible to see as a kid, or like just in general, like
Yeah, it's traumatizing.
seeing. Yeah.
And I think that's what's unique about the movie too is like it's about an alien invasion, but it's kind of shot like a war film almost.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
all the images are, like I said, pretty tragic.
Yeah.
Um, every once in a while, I feel like, when you see the aliens again, or that red goopy stuff they leave everywhere, that kind of reminds me of Stranger Things now, which,
Oh yeah.
was obviously influenced by Steven Spielberg, but
Hmm.
um, it's almost like you forget it's about aliens because it just feels like it's about war at times.
For sure. Hence the
Yeah, War of the Worlds.
title
Yeah.
Warlords. Um, but man, like after that scene, God, I don't really know if there's any other scenes that really stood out to me. I mean, besides that, it's just um, God, everything's just, yeah. I think it's just those two scenes. But really, the thing I love most about this movie is that just when, at least for Ray, and I'm sure everybody in the world, like just when they think it can't get any worse, it does. Like for
I
Ray,
know this movie just keeps.
yeah,
I never felt like I knew what was going to happen next, to be honest,
yeah.
and I liked that about it because it didn't feel predictable to me. But like every
Hmm.
situation they were in, that car scene you talked about earlier,
Hmm.
where that mob kind of descends upon that van and starts
Oh
trying to
my
pull people.
God, yeah.
It's just so intense. And then then the ferry scene where they're all trying to get on that ferry, and then the aliens come there, and then
Yep.
it's like it just goes from bad to worse. And I got so mad at his son when he
Oh,
was like, I have to fight in the war. And
I know,
it again,
yeah.
it did kind of echo reality in some ways. I do think
Hmm.
that that happens where people are like, this is awful, I'm not just going to sit here, I'm going to join in. And he's like, you don't get it, like you don't understand what we're up against, we're
Hmm.
not going to defeat this, like just don't do this. And he makes a decision, and I thought, okay, well, we'll never see him again. And I was really relieved when we saw him again at the end. But at times, I don't know if you felt
Hmm.
this way watching the movie for the first time, but at the end I'm like, is he dreaming this? Like it's too good to be true, like his son is back. Like it just ended so nicely. I was relieved, but
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't do a Jacob's ladder and he like like isn't really alive or something. Because it was so nice. But yeah, those scenes I thought were pretty intense. And then of course,
Hmm.
like I said earlier, the one where they're in the basement, and the
Mm.
way the alien is kind of like a anaconda, like a snake.
Oh, I
And
know that was.
So
terrifying.
good. And like Jaws and like the way they trick it with the mirror. Like I liked all that
Mhm.
stuff. That really worked for me.
Yeah. Um, God, I think one of the so like I my biggest fear is being eaten alive. So
Oh gosh. Yeah, that
like
does not sound pleasant.
so Jaws was kind of it was hard for me to watch kind of as a kid.
Sure.
Um,
It's hard for a
so
lot of people to watch as a kid and as an adult.
yeah,
That's a great movie, but
for
scary.
sure. So in this movie, when you learn that these aliens are, I mean, they're not, you don't see them like physically like chewing any humans or anything, but that they're feeding on our blood or like that's just terrifying enough for me. I just really I don't have a problem with zombies though. It's kind of a weird thing. I guess because zombies are kind of just they're not thinking, they don't have any, they're not knowingly wanting to like consume
Oh,
another
so
living
intent
being.
matters for you, their motive.
Yes, yeah, so
Yeah,
like
you're right. The aliens are like true predators.
yeah, like if they are like willingly like hunting you down, wanting to consume you, eat you, it's just that's terrifying to me. So when you see the scene when they're at Tim Robinson's, I'm assuming his house, you see the alien bring down this person and this, I don't know even what you call it, like a rod. It penetrates this guy and then they're taking his blood like they're like it's a straw, like they're sucking up the blood. It's crazy. And then they just spray all the blood, I guess, into the like out in the fields and stuff, the red weed, and that's crazy. It's just yeah, like I said, like
Yeah, it's intense.
it's
It's
just
definite, and the way that like Tim Robinson reacts to it, like that's his breaking point. He's like, okay,
oh
they're
yeah.
just eating us. I can't handle this. Like, yeah, that was wild.
Yeah, and like I was saying, like how it just gets worse and worse. So Ray thought it was just one tripod, and then he sees that it's more than one, and then after that, well, it's the red weed, and like even for Tim Robinson's character, I guess that was the first time he saw the red weed, and it felt like he was kind of just grasping already that these aliens are invading, and he was ready to fight. But then, like you said, like that was his breaking point. Um, it's I don't know how much worse it would have gotten, to be honest. I
Yeah.
wonder how long or what else was gonna happen if the aliens didn't die from I'm assuming, or Morgan Freeman says the air and our blood and whatever.
Yeah, they got like some kind of infection and it wiped them out. Um,
Mm.
you know what else this reminds me of? Have you seen the movie Nope?
Nope. Yes. Oh my God. That was I saw it once, but I never saw it again, and I don't plan to because of that scene where it's taking up all those people and they're like slowly being like consumed in like this. It's kind of like a tube that they're
Yes, but
in.
it reminds me of like the basket scene in this movie where like all those people are in the little
Oh,
baskets.
oh yeah, for sure.
Like I was like, it must have influenced Jordan Peele's interpretation, even the way the alien looks in that movie. Sorry, spoilers, everyone. It's about aliens. I think everyone knows that by now, but I think even visually, like it kind of reminds me of Nope, which yeah, Nope is intense. I actually loved it, but it is really creepy. And if you don't like want to think about being eaten, then yeah, probably not the movie for you. But totally get that.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great movie. And sometimes, I will watch movies, even though they kind of bother me in that way. Movies that, have people being eaten intentionally by these intelligent beings. But
We all have
yeah.
something. We all have something that's like, I do not like to see that. Like, I
Hmm.
actually don't really. One reason, or I should have said this at the beginning, if it makes you feel better, I think part of why I avoided War of the Worlds is I kind of get freaked out by disaster movies. And like, if
Really?
things are too bleak, I'm like, I just can't. So, like, You know, like
Ah.
I saw Twister, but I don't normally like movies about natural disasters. I don't,
Oh,
or
okay.
even Outbreak. Like I don't like that
Oh
kind of
my
stuff
God.
because it's so disturbing to me.
Hmm.
So, but I'm glad I watched it, and especially because it has a good ending. Like the world is okay at the end. I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
like I guess I should have read the book or listened to the full audio play. But um, yeah. So I think we all have our things. So don't feel bad about that.
I actually don't think the original movie.
Does it
Yeah,
end bleak?
no, not well, not. I don't think so. I can't really remember it that well, but actually, Robbie and Rachel. I don't know if they're characters in the book or not, but they don't come out in the original movie.
Okay. They
So
might have
I
been
don't.
added to add some nostalgia and like a connection. I feel like
Yeah,
Steven
I think
Spielberg
so.
does that a lot
Hmm.
with the child characters, you know?
Yeah, and that it kind of also goes into how books are adapted to film.
Oh, yeah.
I do have a friend who I haven't read the Harry Potter books. Sorry, kind of going off on a tangent, but she told me,
Oh, no, all good. We're all about
uh,
tangents on this show. We just talked about Nope for like 10 minutes, so yeah.
true, but she told me some stuff that was left out from the Harry Potter books,
Oh, yeah. Tons of stuff.
and
Yeah, because those are big
like
books, a lot of them.
it was just baffling to me how much was left out, and I can totally get why people prefer the books over films, and like that goes for any books that are
Oh,
adapted to
yeah. You
film.
just got more time, you know, with the
Hmm.
characters in the books. So it's always going to be different, for sure.
Yeah, and I wonder, um, like I since I haven't read War of the Worlds, I wonder which one is a more faithful adaptation of the book, like the original or this one, or if either of them kind of just, you know, kind of just put their own twist on it and like add characters instead of using characters that are in the book. I would imagine Steven Spielberg's is, he does more of his own thing, and I would imagine the original movie is more faithful to the book, being that they couldn't really do much with the technology at their time, so I feel like they kind of had to stick to the book.
Yeah. I'm looking, I asked AI if I'm honest, like who had the best adaptation. It seems like they all have a slightly different theme or
Hmm,
focus. You know, I mean,
interesting.
obviously Spielberg's is more a modern telling, you know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Apparently there was like a 2019 3 episode series that was set in the Edwardian area, I guess,
What the heck?
era, sorry, and located in England. So that part, I guess, makes it a little more like the
Hmm.
H.G. Wells novel. But it looks like they all have like a different, just like a different take on it.
Hmm.
I have no problem with them setting it in a modern setting, though. I think that's interesting because I mean,
Hmm.
I think whatever setting you put it in, you might focus a little bit on different things. So
For
I
sure.
kind of like that. Um, Yeah. Is there anything about the film that we haven't talked about yet that you wanted to explore, like the
Hmm.
score or anything else like that?
Yeah, I guess speaking of the score, I think probably my favorite, part of the track or part of the film score it's for that scene where the tripod is first revealed, because the music just builds up that tension, and it adds more to why that's my favorite scene out of the movie. Um, but I mean, after that, the score it's great throughout the whole movie, but I think after that first reveal of the tripod, it kind of just nothing's really that memorable to me as that scene is, but
Mm-hmm.
um like some of the it does stay with me because of how bleak the score is, going with the movie. It's kind of haunting that
Agreed. And
nothing's.
it's John Williams too, so that's
Oh yeah, yeah.
he's the great Steven Spielberg's obviously used him a lot. Also,
Hmm.
the cinematographer is Janusz Kaminski, who also I'm seeing was the cinematographer for Schindler's List. So
Wow,
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yeah, I do think that they look kind of similar. Except of course that movie's in black and white, but I think
Mm,
that's
yeah.
interesting. Um, yeah,
I actually saw Schindler's List for the first time last year.
yeah, it's a tough
It
watch for
was,
sure.
oh yeah, it was very heartbreaking. Uh, it, I, it kind of broke me when the children were hiding in those, I mean, I don't know what you call them, like porta potties at their, like in their time.
Yeah,
Like, one kid was trying to hide with the other kids and they told him to go hide somewhere else. Like, are you kidding me right now? Like that's very heartbreaking that I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever watch it again, to be honest, because
I know.
it's
Same.
it's
I
really
mean,
tough.
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's really tough to watch, and it's just I don't know if I can like willingly put myself through that over and
Totally
over
fair.
again.
Yeah, he did a lot of he did Saving Private Ryan, Minority Report, West Side Story most recently. So he has other work that you could watch that may be a little bit easier to see again. But yeah, definitely one of those films. Great movie. Everyone should see it, but it's not necessarily one you'd have on repeat.
Oh no.
No.
Um, Let me see. What else about the movie? Man, I don't know. It's just God, I guess I mean I wish people talked about it more. Like I don't really see
Yeah.
people talking about it a lot. And you know the fact that I think you mentioned briefly in the beginning that the live broadcast with Orson Welles scared some people.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah,
so
like people actually thought it was happening,
yeah,
and
that was
very
crazy. Like
effective.
yeah, they were getting calls that people wanted to join the effort and fighting the Martians and that's
Yeah.
crazy. It's kind of a different kind of immersion for the audience, like literally, I guess, immersing them, thinking that
Yeah.
there's an actual invasion going on. But that was an interesting listen because I've never actually heard anything from back then, and it kind of I don't know. It's kind of interesting to I don't know if I guess feel the way people would have felt back then,
Yeah,
like
I think that's very interesting. Agreed.
like like that was their their entertainment back then. And it's just it kind of just makes you appreciate what we have now, and it makes you kind of think
Yeah.
like how much for granted that we might take what we have now.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
uh, but yeah, I mean, I really like kind of I think that's my favorite thing about War of the Worlds. Not the 2005 film, but the live broadcast and just the fact that these people thought it was actually happening.
Yeah.
Um,
Because someone hadn't done that, like someone hadn't committed to that level of immersion, like you said. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, and I was telling my mom that, they didn't give a disclaimer at the beginning.
Yeah.
The radio host, I'm assuming, he just, they just went right into it and Orson Welles just started reading and I told her, well, of course these people are gonna think it's real. They might just tune into the radio randomly and they hear
Right.
this like story about an alien invasion. Like how are they supposed to know that it's not actually happening? Because it sounds like the the way he's reading it, it actually sounds like he's just uh, kind of reading the events that have already happened, and he's
Right.
catching them all up to speed to what's been happening, and yeah, it's just
Yeah,
crazy.
it's pretty
So
cool. It's really interesting that they delivered it that way and that it was so effective. And like you said, I mean, people are listening to it at their homes and like
mhm.
depending on when they tune in, how would they even know that they're listening to a radio show? Very true.
Yeah, and I think that's it kind of makes me feel it, like people calling it. It's kind of like how Robbie, he wanted to fight the aliens when like he's just telling Ray that he has to see this, he has to be there, he wants to fight, and it's just I don't know. It's interesting that maybe I don't know if he took inspiration from that
Yeah, he
or
probably
what, but
did. I mean, and this isn't that long after he, filmed like, or after he directed Saving Private Ryan, and
yeah.
like it's just interesting. Yeah, I agree. That's a good connection. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, and I would, I would hope if anyone sees uh War of the Worlds 2005 that they would want to go back and watch the original War of the
Yeah,
Worlds or listen to
it's
the broadcast.
definitely piquing my interest for sure.
But the aliens in the original movie aren't like I
Quite as
mean it's
scary. Yeah.
no, yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's not. I mean, it's still kind of creepy though for sure. But I don't know if you know about that new War of the Worlds movie with Ice Cube. It's on
Oh
Amazon.
yeah. I
It's
don't
like
know much about it, to be honest.
me neither. I don't plan on watching it, but
Yeah, it
like it
didn't
was
feel like it made a big splash or anything.
no, it was apparently the whole movie is like Ice Cube is witnessing everything from his computer and like it's literally just from the point of view of a computer. It just doesn't.
It doesn't have the
It is
same weight.
no, like not at all. I
Okay.
don't know why they made it, um
Oof.
actually I think one other thing that if this is to be my last thing that I talk about the movie, so Tim Robinson's character when he's talking to Ray about the invasion, he says that this is like the first wave, like they'll keep coming.
Oh
Um
yeah.
so it's never made I've never been interested in a sequel. I actually don't want them to ever make a sequel to this movie, like if it's ever crossed their minds. But it does, kind of get me thinking, like, what would a second wave look like? Would they be ready for it after, dealing with this first wave?
Yeah, because it feels like they just got lucky. So it's like, how would
Mhm,
they prepare for another one?
right, and like they did get lucky because their weapons weren't doing anything at all, and they're lucky that just the aliens weren't able to adapt to Earth, and I don't know. See, I don't know if these aliens were like uh, sending information back to Mars of all their findings and whatnot, and I don't know. It's interesting to think about, but I really wouldn't want them to make a sequel because I don't know if you can like all the tension of all these like the first tripod that rises up that we see and then how everything just gets worse and worse throughout the movie. I don't know if you can replicate that in a sequel. So a sequel
Yeah,
at
it's
at
hard.
that at that point would just be kind of like the usual blockbuster that you see now. Kind of just it doesn't have all that stuff and it's just kind of mindless stuff, I guess.
I'm gonna get I might get some heat for this, but that to me that feels a little why I like the first Jurassic Park movie, but I didn't really watch or rewatch a lot of the ones that came after even Jurassic World because to me it's like that first movie was a horror movie. And then
Hmm.
the other movies, I
Yeah, it
mean,
was.
you can't keep that same energy, even if it's good.
Yeah.
Like I love Alien.
Hmm.
Aliens is a different movie. It is we've seen the alien now. And so
Hmm.
they have to do something different. So I think to your point, if they were to do a sequel, it would be a very different film.
Yeah, it would be. And I don't know if any of these if Tom Cruise would return or not, but
Yeah. I
um
think that they've since
yeah,
patched up their relationship,
yeah, I'm
him
sure
and
they
Steven
have.
Spielberg. Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of Alien, did you see Alien Earth, by the way?
Oh, yeah. I love that show.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I'm
Wow.
watching it. I'm not done,
Oh,
but
okay.
I'm on like I just saw episode 6, I think, last night, actually.
I thought the ending was kind of underwhelming. Like
Okay.
actually
Okay.
the yeah,
I'll
I'm
have
not
to
gonna spoil
wait.
anything.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
But
Yeah.
it was just, I don't know if you, was the alien, the xenomorph, was it, did it seem like its movements were kind of weird to you? Was it, did the camera stay on the xenomorph too much? I don't know. That was just me. I felt
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I think kind of to our discussion earlier, like it's a different budget. It's a different
right,
I
yeah.
think actor in the suit, and
Hmm.
than in some of the other ones. I don't think is quite as tall. So
Hmm.
I feel like there's some of that going on. And then, in Alien, like they don't show you the alien a lot, so that it's terrifying when you see it. But
Hmm.
after that, it's kind of like, well, we know what it looks like, and then it's like, well, let's have a bunch of them, it's like,
Yeah.
so I mean, I think it's almost like the show is going for something different than
Hmm.
the scariness of the xenomorph. But I'll have to wait till I see the end, then I'll let you know what I think.
Oh, for sure. Well, I can't wait for your reaction.
Yeah. Well, to wrap up the discussion of this film, if you had to, I guess, summarize what we've talked about over this past hour, as to why you love this movie so much, what would you say? Like, if someone asked you, like, what is it you love about this movie?
I think what I love about this movie is just that, you know, despite things just getting worse and worse and worse, there is this hope that if they just keep going, that
Yeah,
it's gonna get better for them. And I think there's, I think maybe that's why it's a comfort movie for me because, like you said, the way it ends is just, it kind of seems like it's too good to be true, but it actually,
that's how it
it
ends. Yeah,
yeah, that's how it ends, and it's just, it did end well for them, and despite going through everything that they went through, and I think it just, if you look at it that way, it has a nice message, and just also your relationships, not to really take them for granted. I know like not everyone's relationships are easy, and like I said about with my dad, um, but like there, I don't know, there's just something kind of cathartic watching this movie for me, and I don't know, I would just hope people feel that way watching this movie, that they feel hope, I guess.
yeah, I really like that. I honestly really like that because I think
Hmm.
there's a connection that you find, a deeper connection
Yeah.
that's personal, and I think that that's good. And I agree. Like, I think it's the older we get, the more we see our parents as human beings, right? And they make
Oh, for sure.
mistakes just
Yeah.
like we do. And
Hmm.
no, I think that's really nice. If you had to pitch this movie to someone that maybe is thinking about watching it and hasn't seen it, what would you say?
Oh man. Oh boy. If you're in for some suspense and some thrills and some good action too, this is the movie for you. And I mean, it's about
Yeah, well
aliens,
said.
so I mean, how could you pass on it?
Yeah. Well, Jacob, thank you so much for picking this movie, and thank you for coming on this show. Really appreciate having you. It was a great discussion, and I hope to have you back soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. That was great.